my gosh, we're doing this.
So excited.
Gorerino.
eNShow.
Gorerino.
Please don't sing.
High five.
Please
No, I'm
don't
gonna
sing.
sing it. Let's do this.
This is how my story goes. Pain and joy, I've had it all. Had it all. My vakati pauchafanga. Safa white ajinoita. Shine your light and let it show. Let it show. This is my story.
Welcome to the eNShow. And oh my goodness, Gorerino. I wish I had a voice, but I don't. And here you are laughing at me. I tried, right? Tembalami, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on the eNShow. You
Yeah.
guys are doing amazing things. I can see this. I was counting the budget. I was like, these guys are serious. They're not playing around. Like
We don't play.
Yeah.
We don't play. And so I'm excited because so you know it's funny when you listen to a song and then you try and say to yourself, how did these people put all of these different artists together and create such an experience? Do you feel that that's how it is? Because that's how it is for us that are listening, right? It's an experience. It's a journey.
I think for us, songs are like babies.
Yes.
Like you give the baby what he wants. So if the baby wants a guitar, you're like thinking, who do I get on this guitar? And if they need a choir, you're like, I need to give this baby a choir. Which choir suits this sound? And when we go to mixing, who do I need? Maybe I need to get Kinda Cute to mix this for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's funny you mentioned that because this is how when I think of content for my show, I dream about it sometimes. I wake up in the middle of the night. And I don't know. So my sister says to me, Emily, you just need to admit that it's God who's speaking to you. Sometimes God just says, you need to interview this person and this is how you need to do it.
Oh, wow.
Do you get that kind of vibe when you're looking at song creation and compilation? Because I feel like you've just walked through it. You know that you need a certain vibe and then you match with an artist. Is that how you sometimes create?
Definitely. I think with songs now comes with experience.
Yeah.
For us, it's more experience with God. So your journey with God determines the depth of songs you write. The Psalms that we read today, when David is saying, clean my heart, oh God, and all those things that we feel this was so deep. It was so deep because it was his personal life experience with how God was keeping him in that moment.
Yes.
Some of the things that he was writing, like, let my enemies wither like the grass and all these things, it was because he was a man at war and he wanted God to come through for him. So even when we're writing songs, so when you listen to my album, you find that there are situational songs. There are songs like Ndiwoni, you're like, what was going on? What
was going through your mind at the time?
What did he want to see?
Yeah.
So as long as we don't experience life with God, it's difficult to write music that resonates with people's lives and that connects with people. Because
so that is the authenticity of your lyrics, your songwriting, the tonality that you use.
Exactly.
You're matching it with the audience that's going to listen.
Definitely, yeah.
So your personal journey with Christ, how has that been? Because what you're talking about is not small, hey? You're saying that you've got this product that you're baking it. If it was a baking thing, you'd put all your ingredients in a bowl, then you'd put it in the oven. And kana chaiva, ufana kunga uchizoziva kuti chichadyiwa nevanhu vakawanda.
Definitely.
So that kuibva ikokoko, iwo wacho uri kutoibvawo futi.
Exactly, yeah.
So where are you in your own personal journey with Christ? Because I find that I'm growing. I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing the impact of it.
One of the things that I've seen is you always need to have something that you're believing God for.
Yeah.
It puts you in a place where you are vulnerable and understanding that I need God to get where I'm going.
Yeah.
So the reason why Apostle Paul has so many books in the Bible is because he was doing so many things. So he would go to Macedonia and go to Rome and go to... So wherever he went, he would have to write a letter to those people and say, this is my letter to the Romans. But if he was just sitting in Jerusalem like the other disciples, then you would not have written all those books. So even when you look at the songs that we write, I have to be on a journey and consistently doing something with God for me to be able to write and produce something. I don't know if that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense. And when we were prepping for and when we were having in conversation, we spoke about the fact that you came from, your journey has been interesting because you started off in gospel, then you went into secular music, and then you came back into gospel.
Yes.
That journey must have given you a perspective that is now enriching the content that you're now creating.
Definitely. I think one of the things that I struggle with my Christian community is we're very naive. We do shallow arguments sometimes because we have no experience. So we have put ourselves on a pedestal, which Jesus Christ said the Pharisee came into a church and found a Pharisee came into a church and found a tax collector and said, Lord, I think you are better than this guy because he's evil. And that's how I feel the church is. We have looked at secular artists as these evil people who are on an evil train and they're out to get us. Yet they're just normal people who are struggling with morality, who are struggling to pay bills and
With
how
reality,
do I feed
with
my
life.
church? How do I deal with social media? They have the same struggles that we do. How do I set a good example for my kids? Yet I still need to produce music that trends and gets people. And those are the struggles that secular artists have. So when I collaborate with them, for instance, like I love Nati, or I've done 2 songs with him. When I sit with him, our conversations sometimes are even more enriching than some of my Christian brothers who feel we are cold and we are separated. But the depth of the conversation is not the same.
I think you've created an opportunity where you can infuse the two. And it's okay to infuse the two. So the example that you've used of Nati is really interesting because some of Nati's songs are like gospel to me.
Oh, yeah.
But then some of his other songs are secular. So I think people playing on the different, crossing the line, that line should actually not exist. It should just be music that speaks to different people. But I watched an interview, when we were doing research on you. And you mentioned something about when you're singing gospel music, there's a bit of acceptance if you don't get the notes right once or twice. Secular music audiences are not so forgiving. Is that still true to you?
No, it is. The difference between the secular audience is if you go to, those Zim dance or shows that those guys do at City Sports, I think. If you go there and you don't sing right and you don't do entertain them,
the crowd will tell you.
The crowd will throw cans at you.
Oh, wow.
If you go to church, you sing off key, where we will maybe talk to you after, like, maybe you need to practice some more and stuff. But in the church, everyone's going to say, amen. And even if you sing off key, there are some people that will come and say, my brother, you are so blessed. The anointing on your life.
In
your off key. So there's acceptance when it comes to gospel music, which can also be a problem. Because we also have a lot of artists that are not supposed to be artists because we have pushed them so much to say, you are great, you are amazing. And also, I blame these media guys because they want to make money from them. They're like, you need a video now. It's going to cost you 6,000.
Which everything is
because
about
you're
money.
amazing. And then they go and spend more and they sing off key on a very nice video. I'm guilty as well.
I feel like the feedback from people of this episode is going to be really interesting.
So it's like that, that we need to find spaces where we can critique something creatively without people taking it personal. If someone says, Temba, I don't like your song, they didn't say they don't like me. They don't like my song.
I think why it becomes so personal is because it is, creative people are very hard to give feedback to.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about giving birth to a child.
Yes.
Yeah, zvakafanira kuti ndabara mwana wangu handiti wakumuti akashata.
Abakana akashata.
Aiwa, but mwana haana kushata.
No, they're
beautiful in their own way.
They are more fearfully than wonderfully made.
You see now. So, to my point exactly, I think it is a giving birth process.
Yes.
And it's really to say, you know what, I took a lot of effort to create this thing. You didn't see the effort, but someone said something very profound to me. They said, Emily, don't do content that suits you. Do content that people want to listen to. So you have to balance the two. I feel like I should do content that's inspirational. But then some people say, no, we want to be hearing about the salaciousness of what's happening outside. Yes. And that's what sells. So, we're going to take a quick break and then come back. I was trying to do research on you about your private life, young man, and I could not find anything. So you need to come back and tell me, why is that? And who are you at the end of the day?
Definitely.
You're watching the eNShow, and I am with Tembalami. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the eNShow, and I am with Tembalami. Temba, tell me. I feel like you owe me an explanation.
Yes.
So my research team were trying to put the show together. We searched high and low. I was like, is this guy married? Does he have kids? And then I realized actually that maybe it's intentional that you don't lead with your family, and that you segregate the two. Is this true? Are you married?
Of course I am. But
of course. It's not always true.
No, but my music is my wife is not musical.
Okay.
And if she was someone who was in the media space, maybe I would allow her to be part of that. But she's not part of that world at all. So I would love to give her that space and also be able to give my kids a normal upbringing, because something is lost with popularity. Privacy is something that is very important to someone.
Yeah.
I can't go to the shops to get bread in shorts and flip-flops, because when I get there, someone wants to take a picture with me. And I don't want that for my kids. I want them, when they're grown, they make that choice for themselves and say, this is what I want to do. If they have a passion for it, yes, I'm going to support it. But if my kid has a passion for music right now, I wouldn't want to expose her before time. What I would rather do is give her piano lessons, guitar lessons, music business lessons, that when she is older, she has got something to sit on.
And without the social pressures, because to your point exactly, I think it is by choice that you are the singer that you are, the musician, the creative. Because in talking to you, I'm clear now, and I've professed you, I said this to you, that you are not just a singer.
Oh, yeah.
You're anyway, we'll get into that. But you're not just a singer. So that's by choice that you're entering this space. But I think our spouses, by choice, are not in the industry.
Yes.
And it's very hard for them to probably see you as the public figure that you are. Because there's probably a girl out there that's saying, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Oh my gosh, whatever. But it is the grace and the mercy and I think just the maturity of your relationship where you're like, okay, hun, this is my public persona. But at home, I'm just. I'm just, and it's okay for that. But I'm sure it's been challenged many times, and it's been hard. It's hard for a lot of artists.
Oh, it is.
It's hard for a lot of artists. But moving forward, you were talking to me about reading up on a lot of things. I know we can spend the whole episode talking about your music, but I think that's been done. I want people to understand that there are layers to you. There are layers. And one of the greatest things that I've discovered about you is your willingness to explore, your willingness to broaden your knowledge base. You were talking about the circle of economies and how music should really become an industry that is international. And we were talking about the value of Zim music and versus external. People knew you, probably you brought a bigger brand outside than you do in Zim.
Yes.
And you have thoughts around how we can change that, how we can change the dynamics. Number one, if a corporate is watching right now, what do we want the corporates to do? What do we want the media people to do?
Oh, yeah. So one of the biggest problems that we have as a people is, even though the notion is changing that you need to grow up, get an education, and get a job, people are starting to respect musicians more.
Yep.
But we haven't reached that stage because we don't have an understanding of how big the music industry is. I was talking about Live Nation, the company that does shows in the US and part of Europe. They are a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yep.
Because if they can pay an artist 500,000 or a gig, and they do 50 shows across.
And there's a PR engine that drives it.
Like if you look at someone like Beyonce, was getting 1.2 million per show, paid off by Live Nation. This is what was going to Beyonce directly. This is not what was charged for the venue, the seats, the sound, the merchandise, the drinks, the everything that was sold.
It's a mega business.
It's a mega business.
Yeah.
So each event can cost an upwards of $30 to $40 million.
Yeah.
So this is not small business. So when we're looking at it now, we need to start thinking like music is big business. Because if you see, the Nigerians understood this way before we did. And they changed that narrative quickly.
Yeah.
When a corporate comes and says, Tembalami, I want you to be the brand ambassador, what it means and what the companies think they are getting is different. Companies that just want a token, but they don't understand that a brand ambassador can drive sales to the extent that Didi became a billionaire by just selling one product, Ciroc. And that's how he became a billionaire. Dr. Dre became a billionaire by just selling headphones because he was the face of the headphones.
After his music
Yes,
career.
everyone was selling headphones. Beats by Dre was Beats by Dre because of Dre.
Right.
Jordan is a multi-billionaire because they put his name and his image and his story. So what our corporates are missing is musicians have a story. But what usually they bring is they say, we'll give you $500 per month to be a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
Beyonce gets $50 million to be the face of Pepsi. Do you see the difference?
And I think the biggest challenge that we have is return on investment for the corporates. How do you track return on investment? I've invested in Tembalami.
Yeah.
I've said to him, this is the franchise that I want you to push, and this is the outcome that I want. I want sales, I want etc. It is maybe the absence of systems or companies that can track that.
No, we can.
Are you able to track that right now?
We can right now, because what we have done is media space has changed.
Yeah.
Back then, it was newspapers and billboards and magazines. You could not track who was watching the magazine.
So you're talking about algorithms on social media.
Now we have algorithms.
Got it.
So if I do something,
Right.
I can tell you who has watched, their age, their demographic, where they work, what they eat. I can tell you everything.
And what time they're watching it.
Exactly.
I got it.
So we have all these things. The problem is we are not investing enough to get Tembalami committed to the eNShow as your brand ambassador.
Right.
Because Tembalami to run, maybe I need a minimum of $2,000 a month to make sure that I've paid my rent, I've paid my school fees, and you're giving me 500, which means I have to find the 1.5 elsewhere. That means I can't give you my 100%. I'm going to give you my 25%. So your return on investment is going to be very little because you've also invested what? Very little. Because you are paying me less than you would pay for one billboard on Broadway Road, which will cost you maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that, number one, we need more knowledgeable musicians who can see themselves as businesses. Because I think the comfortable spaces, let me perform, let me get money, and then let me pay the bills.
Let me go, yeah.
But it's to say, listen, where you will not be as popular.
Exactly.
And where have you invested?
So also that part is where I have to start, where I study on.
Right.
Like I was saying, Beyonce is a business. What's a business? It has to be registered. It has to have inventory and everything that means it's a business. If you come as an investor, you need to see my balance sheet to say, where is the revenue coming in? Is it shows? Is it merchandise? Is it what? Where is my revenue coming from? Mm-hmm. And when you're investing, you're not investing in Tembalami, the person. You're investing in Tembalami, the
business entity.
Yes.
That has a CR14 that has shares. That has shares, that has tax returns and everything.
Exactly. So am I registered with Zimbra and all these things? Am I paying my taxes? So that when you bring your money, where is it going?
Yep.
Because if you're just giving it to me, of course, I'm going to the car sale and just buy me a car so that I look flash. But if it's a business, we are looking at what do we need to grow more.
Yeah.
You see, I'm wearing my merchandise.
Yeah.
You're saying, so how many T-shirts are we selling per month? If we put in money and if we do production in China, how many can we sell now?
Yeah.
How much do we need for that? And how much do we get on our return on investment? So all those conversations start to make sense.
And it's wonderful that you're so passionate about it because this is your next phase. I told you, and I'm going to come back, I'm going to keep telling you this. But
I still got 10 more years at least.
Listen, I'm not pushing for a timeline, but I know this is your future.
Okay.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back to that because now I want to hear this new project that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Very excited. You're watching the eNShow, and I'm with Tembalami, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the eNShow. So, Temba, I was looking on my phone the other day.
Yes.
And you have a habit of sending these WhatsApp blasts, right? And I was like, oh, he's got a new song.
Yes.
Is WhatsApp your mode of intimately talking to your key stakeholders? Because I think it works. And I actually pressed, the YouTube and I listened to the song. And yeah, I would have not had a direct connection with you if it wasn't for that. So.
No. What I believe is if you are giving people value, they don't mind you being in their intimate space. Yeah. So I use WhatsApp and I use it sparingly, and I use it for people that are in my phone book to say when I've got something new, because most of the people that follow me, unfortunately, they're busy people. And now they work and they're busy.
Yeah.
So they might miss some of those things. So once in a while, I give them a blast. But I always have something happening. Like I do worship Wednesdays, and I've got different things that are happening as we go. So sharing like music videos, I have a bunch of music videos that are coming, 4 of them that are coming out before the end of the year. Because I'm releasing an album on the 5th of December.
Wow.
So I'm excited about that. And we're doing a dinner. People are going to dress up. Christmas.
Okay.
Because our theme this year was Gorerino I Gorerangu, like I'm wearing. So when we come, we are sharing testimonies and stories about this year and celebrating what God did this year, as well as launch the album. So it's a Gorerino celebration dinner.
Oh, and I love that song, by the way, and it's always on replay in my. And I love how you guys infused Nati O with Gemma
on the remix.
Yeah, the remix. The remix is the one that is always on, and it's funny because every singer has a signature.
Yeah.
And the signature ya Nati Ndrukinzwa, signature Gemma Ndrukinzwa, and I can also hear yours. I actually said to my team, so to infuse all of this together to create that. But you've done that with a lot of your songs. Though.
Yeah, I do that a lot. One of the reasons, a lot of people ask me, like on my Christian church side, people don't understand why we do these collaborations, but there are spaces where some of these artists do well. Gemma does well on radio.
Yeah.
And she's got platforms. She was doing shows in France, in places like
Incredible artists, yeah.
I've never been in France. And some of those collaborations puts me in France.
Yeah.
And I would be, to put it blunt, stupid if I don't use those relationships that I have. Because Gemma is a good friend of mine, and Natio is a good friend of mine. And I love their content. It's clean, and there are people that are very positive in the way they think. Gemma has done more gospel songs than some gospel artists. But having them on a remix put our song back into the charts, not the gospel charts where I usually am, where everyone is. Ikoko kunana HKD nana Master H nanani. Tembalami anengarimo top, like Corino was on number 1 on those charts. So there is a place where Ana Baba Charamba, where when we took over the gospel from them, Baba Charamba was chart topping on everything. And then when we took over, we now have a separate chat show where we only do our gospel things and we think we are special. But if it's all music, we should be able to get into those spaces, get the youth to also connect with our music. If we are failing to do that, then we become a small little cult in our own little corner. Salt irim salt shake.
That's profound.
Yeah.
Salt irim You know, and that's interesting. So your new sound, right? The new song.
Yes.
That's out now.
Yes.
Because I texted you and I was like, so this is out now. Tell me about that.
Oh, that was a very vulnerable space because
when I listened to it, I was like, yo.
So the theme is boxing.
Yes.
Because as a man, when you wake up every morning, it's a fight. So this was very personal for me to say, I have to fight for my rent. I have to fight for my school fees.
Wow.
I have to fight for my mental health. As a man, I have to fight against addiction because some men just retreat into alcohol and drugs and porn or something. I have to fight against depression. When you fail to provide as a man, you become anxious and depression kicks in, and we have a very high rate of suicide amongst men. And that boxing ring was that illustration that I have to wake up swinging every day.
Wow.
So that was the analogy of it. But now telling the story visually now, it meant I had to go into a ring where boxing gloves and be shirtless on screen. And that one was hard.
It's a lot of confidence that you need for that.
You need to be...
but you had to depict it so that people could relate to it.
We had to tell the story, and it was different.
I just listening to the song, it really... And I'm finding a lot of male artists talking about male mental health. And it's becoming so important. And at the eNShow, Boys Matter for us. And we're running a program called, Boys to Men. And it's because of that.
Thank you so much.
We are invested, but we're also seeing men fighting for themselves to say, guys, we're not okay. And it's okay to say we're not okay.
We are not okay.
And what does not okay mean? It means that there's so much social pressure that you guys have to deal with. Every day uchingomuka. Baba apana chikingwa, apana chakati, apana. And isusu wadzimai vachoka. Atinecho nekuramba
I call it the morning request show. Just wake up and there's a line of requests.
I love that.
Sugar's out. Like, apas no udzana out mafuta pera, sugar pera.
Exactly.
You're like,
So I feel that because even kuba kwangu pane pamwe pendinototarisa vanhu with a blank face kuti but amuninzwiro here tsitsi. Like, can you just stop can you just stop for a minute?
Can I breathe? Yes.
Yeah, so I think, a lot of single parents also get the same.
Exactly.
And the environment has become so strenuous that,
Exactly.
let me just take a step back, let me take a breather. And so do you find yourself falling into creativity when you're trying to find your calm place? And is this the birth of this album that's coming up?
I have a song for everything.
You have a song for everything.
Like when I'm depressed, Lord, I'm depressed. When I'm happy, Lord, I'm happy. When I have messed up, Lord, I've messed up. When I've done well, Lord, I've done well. I have a song for everything.
It's therapy.
Yeah.
It's therapy for you.
It is, and it's also prayer for me. Like that's how I communicate with God, to say, Mwari, this is me. So I can only be me, and I can only sing about my experiences. How I experience God. When I go to pray, I write a song about prayer because I'm praying. So it has always been like that. My songs come from an authentic place.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have a lot of songs that were written by someone unless I'm in a season where I'm actually meditating on that song and I'm like, this song is really relating to the season that I'm in and I want to record it.
Yeah.
And I did that with Goodness of God. And people connected with it a lot, and it was during COVID because for me, I felt very grateful. So it's all of that.
And talking about gratitude as we wrap up, I asked you, when someone deliberately takes their hard-earned money and says, "I'm going to go and pay for a ticket to go and watch Temba perform," how does that make you feel?
I think that's the biggest gift someone can give you.
Yeah.
To respect you enough to want to pay, not just to come for an event, but even to bring you at their event, a wedding, and not try to belittle you in the process. Because there are people that book you, but you know that this person does not appreciate my work. It's more like charity. Like, tazongofunga kuti tungokwanisawo in our event. Saka hatisi kukupa mari dzako dzaunotaura dzadza. Isusu tiri kukupa 200.
Yeah.
And as an artist, I know most artists have taken gigs like that. You take them grudgingly because you know this was not out of respect. It's just something I have to do to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Then there are those people that say, I really appreciate your work. I've got people
Your
like
artistry,
that.
your creativity.
Yes, your songs help me. And I appreciate you. And I know your fee would be 1,000 for this, but I will give you 1,005 because I appreciate what you do.
Right.
Then there are people that come and say, we just want to create a relationship with you. So is it okay if we give you $100? No, that's not a relationship. That's abuse.
Abusing $100.
Because I'm pretending to be in a relationship just to use you to pay you less. Yeah. So we have that in the industry, but I appreciate those people that take their time, their hard-earned money.
The fans.
There are also fans that can't afford your fee.
Yeah.
But they will come genuinely and say, I really want to attend your show. I have half, but I want to come. I don't have. I wish I had. One day I would have. Some of those people, I would even pay for them because they're genuine.
Let me tell you, I resonate so deeply with that because, you know, when people come and give me feedback on the eNShow, I actually say to them, thank you for watching. Because even time
is important,
money. And time committed to watching and taking your content becomes very important.
Yeah, especially in this swipe up generation.
Oh, swipe
if
up.
Someone swipes and stays on your feed.
No, you're doing something right.
That's amazing.
That is. And this is we've come to the end of the eNShow.
I was getting warmed up.
I know, right? But it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show.
No, thank you so much. And I love this show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And it's been long overdue, but I was trying to get my vocal cords to start singing Gorerino.
Oh my goodness. Please don't sing. Where's the producer? Please don't make her sing. Please. I'm begging you.
That didn't work. But we're going to have you back again. And now we're jumping onto YouTube for our EN Extra.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking all things Tembalami. But from here, thank you so much. It's been such a blessing to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching the eNShow. I'm with Tembalami. And once again, we are sending love and light your way. For more on this episode, jump onto YouTube and you will get EN Extra. See you next time. Welcome back to the eNShow, and this is EN Extra, only available on YouTube. Tembalami.
Yes.
Yes. But you were talking about business, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to talk about business. How do we convert talent into monetary value? It seems like such a small question.
Yeah.
But it's a big one for me.
It is huge. I think the biggest problem that we have is the industry is now upside down.
Yeah.
Artists are being discovered on social media when they already have traction. So by the time they go and release a song, they're already popular and they're already big. The problem now is trying to learn now when you are big is hard because everyone expects you to know everything. Like you are there and you know everything. And that's the problem. So when you look at it, an artist will release a song today and it's a hit and everyone is talking about them. I can give you an example of the Fira Dendi guy. He does a freestyle. The next thing, he's now invited everywhere.
Sorry, okay. Fira Dendi.
Yes.
Do Zoe Papa.
Okay, no, there's a guy who trended last month or the month before. He Templeman does these freestyle Zim dance or things on the street.
Yes.
And this guy came and did the freestyle and he said Fira Dendi 5 times and people jumped onto it. He's like, Fira Dendi, that Fira Dendi, and it became a thing. It just went viral.
Wow.
So from that point, he's now invited everywhere. So overnight, he's now an artist. The difference now is when you look at the artist Wakudara and John Chibadura, you needed a demo that was recorded with a band. So you would learn to perform for a long time. Those jazz bands and jazz invitation, and they would play the Manenberg and the Book Cafe for a long time before they get into a studio. So by the time they get their hit, they are used to audiences. They're used to performing.
They've gone through.
Know. I did a post yesterday about how to hold a mic because I get so annoyed every time I see an artist holding a mic by the capsule and there's so much feedback. And he looks at the engineer, he's holding the mic wrong. He's like, Mr. Engineer, what are you doing? I'm like, you are the idiot who's holding the mic wrong.
So we need mentors.
Yeah.
We need people who can groom. We need you. This is what I'm building up to.
So artists like grooming.
Yes.
And I've got some young people at my studio.
But you did a workshop recently, right?
Yeah, I do periodic workshops, and some of the times I do just online rants.
Okay.
I speak to these young people. I'm like, if you come to the eNShow and you want to propose a business partnership, you get here, you see these 6K Blackmagic cameras. Already, if I came with $100 in mind, I start to rethink. I'm like, no, these guys have invested already over $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 on equipment. So whatever I'm thinking, I need to rethink it.
Yeah.
But as an artist, if you come dressed like Fira Dendi, sorry, I keep using him as an example, but he's just the trend that came. But there are a lot of artists that are like that. The corporate that we're talking about, when they come to meet the artist, they need someone that they look up to. The reason why we're paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to a Nigerian artist is we believe that they would not accept a certain amount. There's a campaign that we did with a certain telecoms company a couple of weeks back. It was Father's Day. They wanted to do an artist and their son in an interview.
Right.
So they got different artists and their kids that were in the industry, in the arts industry. There's a certain artist that they said, we had a budget of 8,000, but we could not approach him because we knew he would not accept that money.
He would say no.
But the other artist was recording with $500
Oh, wow.
on the same program. The only difference is not that the other artist is better musically. The only difference is they are packaged better. They know that if they go to his manager will say this. There is a buffer that separates the artist and the corporate.
So it's packaging.
It's called a manager.
Managers, packaging.
Yes.
It's the brand.
Yes.
So when I was still in corporate, the brand management was very important for me.
Yes.
Because I would say, is this aligning with the brand of the organization?
Exactly.
So I think musicians also, there's a learning curve here. What kind of a brand are you? And you're, to your point, when we were doing the interview, you can't just go to the shops and say, wakafika mashorts akho and kamekashit. You're a brand. So what does that brand translate to into the corporate space?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's a young man who came and said, you know what, I don't like Nati. I was like, why? And said, no, he lectures too much. He says this. I was like, the problem that you're not getting is he has a story and you don't.
And he's telling a story.
He's telling a story.
Yeah.
Every time he appears anywhere, he's telling a story. And people show up for that story. You are an artist who is dependent on a hit song. He is dependent on a brand. Brands don't need hit songs. Some of the most popular, most booked artists in Zimbabwe last year they hit 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But they still build the highest and they still have the biggest following. The reason is they created a brand and a story. People connect with them outside of just them producing a song. And that understanding of branding, marketing, what are you selling, vision, mission. Because I get a lot of young artists that come and say, I need you to mentor me. Or they come and say, I need a collaboration. I'm like, okay, why do you need a collaboration? It's like, music. Then I ask them, then what? I can do a song with you. It goes on #1. Then what?
You know, it's amazing to watch you, hey? The teacher in you is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's getting bigger and bigger. And the passion that you have for the next generation is, I always bring it back to you.
Yeah.
You're talking like this, but I see you being a big influence in how this younger generation will come in of musicians.
But also it's going to take a bit of time.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that. The reason why it's going to take time is we are a microwave generation. We want to blow up so much. We want to be seen.
And now, not
right
tomorrow.
now, not tomorrow. And the artists that can build brands are the ones that stay. The one-hit wonders that we have had in this country, if we were to count them, would run out of fingers. That came, blew up, made so much noise, got booked so much, and now we don't even know them. Both in gospel music and both in secular music.
Yeah.
I've been doing music for almost 20 years now. And I'm still here. And a lot of people ask, no, but you are Auskurid. I'm like, I'm a brand. I don't need a hit song to stay relevant. I don't need a hit song to get bookings.
And you're layered, and that's what people don't understand.
Yeah, so there are certain gigs that I do that are corporate gigs. I can do a jingle. I can do influencer work that has nothing to do with a hit song that I've produced and earn money, whilst others have to wait for a hit song for them to earn a living. The difference comes now to understanding the industry. I don't like lazy arguments to say, Jay-Z is making it because he's Illuminati, and then we go home and sleep. I don't do that. I actually go and look at his numbers. What is trending? Why is it trending? How much investment did he put?
What's driving
Who
it?
did he partner with? What kind of systems is he sitting on? Where is he making the money? There are a lot of avenues where you can make revenue as an artist that people don't know about.
And that's the beauty about growth, and that's the beauty about maturity.
Yeah.
I'm finding more of these conversations becoming more and more relevant around that space.
Definitely.
But Tembalami, this one, we have come to the end of the end of the end of the end. And once again, we are saying to you, thank you so much for coming on to the eNShow.
Yes,
it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I like the extra. I think
The extra is the fun part.
Like
the other portion.
Yeah.
So no, next time you do your album launch, please invite the EN team. We'd love to come out and see you at
Of course, you're actually buying a table.
We're gonna buy a table.
You guys are buying a table.
Yeah. And we're gonna dock Takachena.
Yes, Takapega is a Christmas.
It's a Christmas. Thank you once again. And for everyone who is watching, this is the eNShow, EN Extra, only available on YouTube. And we are sending love and light your way.
Yes, we are super extra on the eNShow.